Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, as of right now, is just a little over 5 months away from its official release date by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, that is all set and ready to introduce many different connections to the prequels and the originals in this story that will conclude the sequel trilogy. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So one exciting aspect of Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to be a revelation movie. It's going to have a lot of twists and turns that will lead to saga-wide implications that will change how we view the originals, the prequels, and even part of the sequel trilogy itself by J.J. Abrams, George Lucas, and Chris himself. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intense as far as the prequel trilogy connections goes in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, what's really intriguing about all of this is that shot descriptions consisting of both Rey and Kylo Ren fighting each other on the First Order battlefield, where it's described that they are both exchanging powerful lightsaber strikes and moves at each other with their sabers as chaos unfolds in the background. It's described that one of the sequences involves a moment in which they clash their lightsabers together, where the environment around them begins to morph and change to a different environment, where it's described that they are eventually fighting in Palpatine's office from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where the city lights of Coruscant can be seen in the background, as both Kylo and Rey fight in front of the large window, and at the same location that Mace Windu fought Palpatine. Additionally, it's described that one of their strikes makes the sequence and its environment crumble, to where they are now fighting in the generator room on Naboo from Star Wars The Phantom Menace, where Maul fought Kenobi and Qui-Gon. One of the sequences is said to even involve a moment where Rey falls off one of the walkways and lands on another just like Kenobi did in Star Wars Episode 1. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because this by far is one of the best prequel trilogy connections in The Rise of Skywalker. Coruscant, and of course, the interior of the generator room on Theed. Now, in case you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, this most certainly is the flash fights. Now, the flash fights are said to bring us back to the popular environments slash locations and or worlds slash planets of the Skywalker saga from the originals and the prequels, as both Rey and Kylo Ren duel it out one-on-one, pretty much going from planet to planet, environment to environment. Now, in this scenario, they're on the First Order battlefield, they're using their sabers. It's said to be a very brutal fight, a great fight, as Daisy Ridley has said before with USA Today that she has a great fight in this movie. And most certainly she was referring to the flash fights in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, this one in particular brings them back to the very spot in which Mace Windu fought Darth Sidious slash Chancellor Palpatine. And at that point in time, we do know that The Rise of Skywalker is going to show us a lot of prequel trilogy moments. And in this particular moment, this is where Mace Windu is fighting Palpatine in front of that window inside of Palpatine's office on Coruscant. So what I love so much about this is that we do know that this movie is really going to connect to the popular locations of course, the prequels and the originals. The last time that we even got to see a glimpse of Coruscant was in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, in that flashback of Galen Erso and his wife. You guys may or may not recall, there was a flashback in that film in which we do have director Krennic having a drink, and you do see the city of Coruscant in the background. Now, the fact that they're trying to bring it back to a certain extent in The Rise of Skywalker shows us that they really are trying to take a step in the right direction with this movie. And the other one of which is where Rey and Kylo Ren eventually are fighting on the walkways of the generator room within the city of Theed on the world of Naboo, the same exact location that Darth Maul fought both Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. A very powerful scene from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, pretty much having the opportunity to relive itself in The Rise of Skywalker between both Rey and Kylo Ren. And the great parallel here is that it's explained that eventually Rey falls off one of the walkways, just how Kenobi fell off one of the walkways and landed on another in Star Wars Episode 1. You can really see that they're inserting a lot of parallels between both Rey and Kenobi in, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. They did the same exact thing, by the way, in The Force Awakens when she is touring Starkiller Base and she's rock climbing, basically, up that metallic wall, and she's sneaking her way around. That's basically what Kenobi did in A New Hope on board of the Death Star. So, with that being said, this whole entire entire sequence of the flash fights where they're going from not only planet to planet, but they're also going to, of course, popular environments, to other locations that we, the fans, are all very familiar with, ever since, the prequels launched back in 1999, starting off with The Phantom Menace. And I think that this is a very healthy thing for Star Wars, because this is a great way to create a lot of nostalgic moments in a short amount of time, without taking up too much screen time for the main characters and the legacy characters. So with that being said, I would love to hear what each and every one of you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.